Our Graded GIJoe special series is sponsored by our two grading partners, EGS Expert Grading Services and PGX Comics. Both offer shipping nationwide and exceptional customer service. Check on the link below. Hello and welcome to episode number 2 in our Graded GIJoe Comics special, where I showcase the books that I had graded and encase, so it's to benefit you guys out there that still have your GIJoe comics in a short box, so you too can make that decision of having your books submitted utilizing PGX or EGX for your grading services. Now, remember, the most important thing is just to have fun. It's the weekend is starting Friday, so I thought this would be a fun little side series to do, and it's to benefit everybody else. And I've done the analysis where I basically showcased how GI Joe comics have been trending up in the last year or so. When I started this in 2015, a lot of these books you could still pick up for $5 or even less in the back bins of your local comic shop. That is not the case anymore, as modern comic kiddos are running back there and taking G.I. Joe comics from right underneath your nose. So stop them. Get your comics. Get them engraved. So the other important thing is doing this route. I don't talk about monetary and stuff because I think if you're in a hobby for monetary purposes, you're totally shooting yourself in the foot. But the facts are the facts. By going this route, when you do kick the bucket, at least you leave something with a potential for your loved ones. So that's another reason why, if you're going to take these comics with you to the grave, this is the best thing to do, to leave behind for your loved ones. It's like savings bonds, basically. So, but again, do not base your retirement off of comic books and toys. Don't do that. I think that's the big problem with these modern kiddos. They think that they're going to be rocking in Mercedes and Rolls Royce based on comic books. Boy, are they stupid. So they haven't wised up yet. But we all know better with 401ks, mutual funds, and so on and so forth, having a retirement plan when we go. But this is just this is for fun and also something to keep in the back of your mind. So let's go ahead and begin with the 4 books I picked out for this week's edition. And I hope you're excited because I like these particular books. Are going to be a nice mixture. Where in the first episode I basically dealt with issue, the back end 150. So this is going to be a good mixture from all over the G.I. Joe spectrum. So let's get started. Alrighty, so the first book we're going to feature for this week is going to be G.I. Joe issue number 281. Now, this book came out only a few months ago, but there may be some future spec on this one, in the fact that Larry Legend Hama has introduced a new character by the name of Sherlock. So she's going to be the new MP. So finally, Law and Order gets some backup and some company while they're out patrolling. But right off the bat, we also get a new villain in the name of El Caubra. So what's going to be the future of these 2 new characters, we don't know. But this is definitely a book to pick up now, put away, and see where the spec takes it. Now, there's 3, as I do every month, I showcase the cover variants. I ended up getting cover A and B, both graded and encased. I think that cover A is probably the better bet because it actually features Sherlock on the cover, where this one, even though it's amazing and cool, it doesn't really showcase, feature the new character. And in modern comics and grading, whatever, that's really significant. So this is great and all, but cover A is actually the better one, and that's actually at the graders. Otherwise, I would have it in this spot. Again, this is ECS, a grading company, and why I like them is because they always give me these custom labels on my offerings. So I just love the fact that, I could put something, and as we go through this series, you'll see the other books that they did for me. And wait till you see issue number 22 with that camo label. That is just freaking bonkers good. But this one, the Cavalry type of one, is also pretty cool. I like that how he integrates the colors along with the cover. So that is another thing, and that's only a EGS feature. That he's the only grading company that offers that, and that's why I usually utilize both grading companies. But when I want something with a little bit more splash or pizzazz when I display it, I like to go to EGS. So GI Joe issue number 281, a modern book that is worthwhile to spec on and put away. All right, the next book we're going to feature should be a real fan favorite, and that's going to be G.I. Joe Special Missions number 1. And due to the popularity of A Real American Hero, Marvel gave the okay to launch a second book with G.I. Joe. The thing with the Special Missions is that I felt that it was more hardcore G.I. Joe than the Real American Hero line. And this one, I mean, look at the cover in itself. How often do you get the original character and the character that's going to replace him, in the sense that the Navy SEAL? So remember, we had Torpedo as the first Navy SEAL, and then Wetsuit has supposedly come along in the toy line sense to replace him. Now this is an all Navy extravaganza. We get Shipwreck, we get Deep Six, Torpedo, Wetsuit, and a first appearance of Polly. That's right. This is Polly's first appearance in comics. Isn't that freaking cool? I bet a lot of people didn't know that, But at this channel, we point out crazy shit like that just for you. Again, this is a great, great book to get graded and encased. Not much significant as far as monetary sense, but just spiritually, it is definitely a must-have. Again, I love the Special Missions. I mean, I would be more excited about getting those issues as a kid than A Real American Hero, because it just seems that they were more grittier than A Real American Hero. They just were just real. Like, bad shit is going to happen in Special Missions. You just have to deal with it and move on. That's what I loved about this series. So G.I. Joe Special Missions number 1. Okay, so the next book we're going to feature is another fan favorite. And this book is interesting because G.I. Joe issue number 2 was never supposed to happen. Issue number 1 was just supposed to be a one-off, one and done, that's it. But due to the overwhelming success of issue number 1, issue number 2 was given a green light. Now what's interesting about issue number 2, the only new character is Quinn. There's no Cobra, and basically they're fighting the Russians pre-October Guard. So the October Guard, comes in issue number 6, I believe. So the Russians were the bad guys, and then Quinn is introduced. They're out in freezing cold bumblefuck Antarctica, and this issue took a little bit of time from the first issue. Usually in comics it's a month-to-month basis, but after a few months, issue number 2 came out. The other important thing that I should educate fans on is there's 3 important variants for this issue. There's the regular newsstand edition first printing, and if you follow this channel, you know the significance of that in terms of modern comics. The second is the direct edition, which basically looks exactly like this. And then lastly, there's the second printing, which is no slouch in itself. The difference monetarily between this second print that I have and a first print is probably about $90, if you cared about that shit. But again, I picked this up because it was very clean. I've seen some. That's the one thing when you deal with the old G.I. Joe comics, and I know many of you guys probably have books that have been read lovingly in your short boxes or long boxes. But that's the thing with collecting G.I. Joe is 9 out of 10 those books are well loved. That's how I like to phrase it. So to get a 9.0, a nice clean copy in those early editions, again, second printing is no slouch, and it presents well. And I use CGC. When I first started doing this, I was using CGC Grading Company. Now they're pretty much the big kahuna when it comes to grading. But I didn't like the customer service. I felt like I was just a number, and just trying to get answers from these people was like pulling teeth. So I said, fuck them. And that's why I deal with PGX and EGS, is because you get real people that actually talk to you and actually give a damn, and they work hard to get your books back in a timely manner. A lot of you guys message me off camera about the turnaround time. With both PGX and EGX, I basically have about a 2 to 3 month turnaround time. Where CGC, some of the turnaround times I've been hearing are like 5 to 6 months, and that's freaking insane. I would forget all the shit I send if that was me. But again, G.I. Joe issue number 2. If you're able to find even the second print, pick it up. It's definitely worth getting graded in case. It's just a beautiful cover, and it's just so unique in its own right. Issue number 1 is special, but issue number 2 is also special for the very reasons that we just talked about. So the last book we're going to feature for this week is going to be G.I. Joe issue number 215. This is part of the Death of Snake Eyes 4-part series. And this particular issue is the actual funeral for Snake Eyes. I did a video about that. It's probably one of my popular videos that I did. It's a silent issue. So this is a silent issue as well. And it's just beautifully done. It just shows that Larry Hama still has his game. And besides issue number 21, I'm going to say, and this is probably going to shock all you guys that haven't read any of the modern IDW stuff, but this is probably the second best silent issue. You hear it here first, folks. It's that damn good. You are emotionally feel like you've been punched in the gut watching how the entire G.I. Joe team says its goodbyes to the original Snake Eyes. Now, this is actually what is this? Hall of Comics action figure variant. This is a special variant issue that is supposed to look like a version 2, but not really. But the important thing about this book over everything else for me is this signature right here. That's right. In 2017, Larry Legend Hama, I met him, I got this signature. And I'll tell you what, Larry was so excited that I gave him this issue, a modern book. And I guess that's what, even though I was two years into recapping the IDW run, he was so touched because, oftentimes, and Larry has gone on record saying this, that he doesn't feel appreciated for what he's doing today. It's just like anybody in their profession. And I did an episode about this as well. But, even if you're, whether a teacher, a plumber, rocket scientist, whatever, from year 1 to year 15, you're going to think that you've evolved and become better as time has come. To be constantly told, oh, I liked you when you were then and that, I can see how Larry feels like, what the hell? I'm still doing it, and I think I'm doing good shit now. So Larry was real, and I told him, I'm loving the new stuff. I do recaps. So he knows, even though I talk to mostly the G.I. Joe artists and people that work in the IDW back offices, I don't really talk to Larry except for that one time. So to have that minute of just connecting with someone that molded all of our childhood was really significant. This book is, again, one of those priceless books in my opinion. And this is also another EGS graded book, and I talked about it. This is a custom label. I love red and black, RU for Rutgers University, the red and black. So that's my color, man. I just love red and black color combo. But this book in itself is beautifully done. So EGS did a home run. What I like about EGS is that you could put these command post taps. They're kind of light, where the other slabs, you need to be really careful when you mount them if you're going to use these command posts. So if you're looking to have these as decorative pieces, I definitely recommend using EGS a little bit more than PGX. Not that there's anything wrong, I just think that you'll be more a peace of mind using EGS books because they're thin and they're lightweight. They're also, these books are both slabs are UV protected, so you don't have to worry about fading or sunlight damaging your books. That's another question I got, and yes, so I'm saying it right here. Both slabs have UV protection on it, so you could feel safe in that regard as well. But again, this book, I had the regular covers of these, but this variant exclusive cover with version 2, I thought was a home run, and to put this in front of Larry Hama, that was freaking amazing. Alrighty guys, so that's episode 2 in this special graded comic showcase. Now, again, the point of this is to showcase to you guys the finished product and what would be advantageous for you and your collection. You're the one who makes that judgment call. If you see a book, like I said, that's been loved a lot, it may not be grading, might not be the best option. But anything above around a 6 or 7, it's worth doing, just because, again, you're locking in a value to it. And if you do want to pass that down to your loved ones, or for some reason you have to sell it, at least you're able to take your collection and use it for some good purpose. I know, times have been tough, and a lot of people have been asking me, what should I do with this? And it hurts to answer this question. It bothers me because I know it's the type of thing that they're going to regret. They're like, oh, I wish if that didn't happen, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, that's another good reason to go about utilizing the services. And again, I love PGX and EGS. I think both companies, I like them because our generation knows that we value customer service and just someone that knows what the hell, responses. So I just think, like, with the other companies, CGC, with some bopper in a cubicle, like, just type in shit. I hated that, and I was like, what, fuck this. I think it's ridiculous. With PGX, or EGS, I just speak to the same person I talk to every month with my books, and I know it's getting taken care of right away. And the fact that both companies care about their end product, you're not just a number, I think is pretty freaking amazing. So again, let's go talk about some tips. I know last week I said, the best way to go about collecting, if you're inclined to get the old issues, is make sure you're specific. And if you want to cut out the middleman, and here's another tip, if you want to cut out the middleman and buy graded books, which is a good thing if you're smart, don't target like anything like maybe write down graded books 9.0 or 8.5 or 8. You're going to save a lot of money because, those middle, high tier, but anything below a 9.8, there's a lot of wiggle room there to pick up some good deals. This way you don't have to go about, you're saving money getting the grading done yourself. So that's another big tip. I know I did that with one particular issue, and it saved me a lot of money. And I looked for something that was a little bit lower, like a 9.4, and then I snatched that baby up. I was like, woo! For the amount that it cost to get these books graded, that's how much I picked up this issue. And you could tell the seller was like, oh, fuck. But this is when, like, G.I. Joe was kind of not as prominent as it is. And I'm telling you guys, like, these modern kiddos, G.I. Joe has a lot of, drawing in a lot of these modern comic people in. I know a lot of these comic specific YouTube channels, and I've kind of befriended them because in turn that helps me with my G.I. Joe comics, and they kind of know that, oh, this is the G.I. Joe comic guy. So they've been able to help me out. But a lot of their top 10s have been featuring G.I. Joe comics. Like, I'll see, like, issue number 1, issue number 32, like, sliding in. So it shows that the market is paying attention to G.I. Joe. So that's why I'm doing this for my fellow G.I. Joe fans. So you get the jump before the kiddos do to snatch away your G.I. Joes. Well, anyway, next we're going to do another PGX unboxing. Now, like again, sometimes some of the regulars on my channel have seen some of these books before because I featured them. But this is just going to be, but they're usually mixed with other books that I do. So shortly we're going to do a PGX unboxing and in a Halloween special. So you're going to see some really cool books. Doesn't matter if you're collecting or not. They're just, if you're a pop culture fan, if you grew up loving this shit, you're going to like these unboxings. You're going to see like the first appearance of She-Hulk. Maybe the second appearance of Ghost Rider. And maybe the third appearance of Wolverine. That's right. And the first appearance of Elvira. So the Halloween special is going to be freaking insane. So if you haven't already, share, subscribe to this channel, stay with us, put some comments down below. I mean, if you have questions and shit, feel free to fire away and I'll do my best to answer them. Well, anyway, this is GIJoe ONLY signing off.